Now trust your skin from every angle.
Renergy Lift Multi-Action Night Cream with linseed extract containing peptides. In only 14 nights. This
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Próspero año y felicidad.
With the Merry Christmas, you and me, it's shining in your eyes. When the ring my bells and you are free, a Merry Christmas.
Hi, Phil. Hey, Latasha.
My second cup of coffee with energetic movie and the background and the holidays going.
I have fresh pine cones in my office, so I keep smelling this cinnamon list.
Come on, people, feel the beat.
A house?
All right, that's our cue to stop.
Which one do you think is worth
let
more?
Me stop
well, definitely
sharing.
not the house because.
All right, welcome everyone. So we are going to go ahead and get started. It's exactly 1 minute past the hour, but I want to be respectful. So I know there's some other people that are joining in, but since it's recorded, they'll be able to catch up with us. So first of all, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Santa. No, that's teasing. I am Latasha Baldwin. I am the Maui Market Center Tech Trainer, and you cannot tell, but I'm in love with the holidays. And I will turn it over to my counterpart to introduce himself so you know who he is.
Hey guys, I'm Kerry. I'm the Market Center Tech Trainer here on Oahu. And I definitely love Christmas as well. Super excited. I think my kids, though, are more excited.
Awesome. Well, I must be a kid because I'm super excited. So a couple of things I do want to say is I did share a poll. So hopefully you should see that. Carrie, have you seen the poll launch yet? Do you see it on
Yes,
your
I
end?
have.
Okay. So if you see the poll, can you please do me a favor and take it? It is anonymous. We just want to get a feel for number one, are you using a CRM, client resource management system, which we're going to talk about today. And then also, if you are using it, is it the broker? If yes, is it provided by the brokerage or is it a third party? So if you can take that poll for us at some point in time, that would be awesome. There's a couple of things I do want to announce and then we'll get right into it for today. A couple of things. This is a pre-announcement. So as a thank you, on behalf of the Tech Wizards, we and Maui are going to be doing a grab and go hot chocolate station. And so I did not forget our Big Island and Kauai peeps. So our Maui agents will be able to stop by the offices Thursday. Let me make sure I have my dates correctly. I guess I should have had that before I said that. So bear with me one moment, please. So for Kihei, your opportunity will be on the 16th, and it will be from 10 a.m. to noon. And you can stop by with your friends and family or your BFFs and enjoy a hot chocolate on the Tech Wizards. For the, let's see, Central Kahului, that's going to be on the 17th Friday, and that'll be from 10 a.m. to noon. And then Westside Whaler Peeps, that will be on the 20th. There will be an email that will go out on Thursday morning that will have that information. Big Island and Kauai agents, I have not forgot about you, or we have not forgot about you. Your gifts will be mailed to you, so you will be able to pick them up in either the Hilo office and or Kona office. And Kauai, you get concierge service. You will get yours mailed to your home. So that's what I wanted to say, spoiler alert. And one other thing, for those people that are needing quick tips when myself and or Carrie are not in the office, there is an out of office message that comes up, and it's also in my email signature. And I'm actually going to show you really quick. It's actually a Google document that you can have access to, and it lists all of the videos that we've ever done chronologized in applet formation. So I kind of feel like Beyonce there, formation. Let me share my screen. I'm just a little hyped and I haven't had coffee. That's the scary thing. So I'm trying to wean myself off of my addiction to coffee. So it looks like this. It says Command Tech Videos. It will be in my out of office, and I'll put the link in the chat once I get a minute. But it has the applet category in order, alpha order. Then it says the subject, and then there's a video link. So this will be available to you 24/7. So you can either look in my out of office and or email footer, and it will also be in the Tech Chronicles moving forward. So anyone island-wide can have access to this document. And it's a quick tip sheet. Some of these are longer videos, but majority of them, 95%, are under 5 minutes. So if you got that quick question, hey, I need help with XYZ, this is your first go-to spot. So questions about what I shared so far in terms of announcements? Good. You think that would be
That's
first for you?
super cool.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Okay. So I will make sure you get that link in the chat. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. So let me share my screen again. And can you all see my screen?
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm going to start the slideshow. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into command fundamentals. So sad. This is our last fundamental class of 2021. Can you believe it? So we will start afresh in several days, but this is going to be the last one. So we're going to go out with a bang or with a sleigh. So we're going to recap all of the fundamentals that, excuse me, that we have taught, and then we're going to get into leveraging campaigns. So recapping, and you will get a copy of this as well. So don't fret, or you can take screenshots if you want, but don't fret. So the first one we did is we talked about leveraging contacts. And within that, we talked about what is a brand. Does anyone recall what a brand is? Or Carrie or my counterpart, Rochelle, anyone want to jump in real quick in terms of what a brand is? There's no right or wrong answer. Anyone want to take a stab at it?
When I think of brand, it's who you are in somebody's mind, right? Just like in that instant when they think of, let's say they think of real estate on Maui, on Oahu, right? In Manoa, in Eva Beach, that they think of you. And whatever it is that you're doing to establish that is what we've been talking about.
Exactly. Perfect. So then within that brand conversation, we talked about brand loyalty and that journey. Going back to what Carrie just said, how do you become top of mind? How does that journey look like? It looks like in terms of the walkthrough of it, the initial contact. How are you doing that consistently when you have that initial contact, when you meet someone for the first time? How are you nurturing them throughout the process to create that raving fan? And so that is what we call the brand loyalty journey. So then that brand promise, going back to also what Carrie said in the sense of not only making sure that you understand what your brand is, but most importantly, what it's communicating. Because sometimes there's a difference between what we think our brand is and what our brand is communicating. So we want to make sure that those two are in alignment. That directly goes back to what are you promising? What are you delivering? So we talked about that. Then we also talked about touch systems. So we put them in order in terms of highlighting, emphasizing the brand loyalty journey. So it meant having some sort of first meeting script or message, some sort of introductory email, some sort of defining, your client needs, understanding what they are and how you're going to achieve that. Nurturing campaigns, social media posting, and why you have the solution, highlight testimonials in terms of why should they choose Jill, why should they choose Teresa, and so forth and so on. Then the marketing strategy. And one of the taglines that we talked about was sell the outcome to get the income. I know that is my BFF Rochelle's favorite tagline of our series. Right, Rochelle?
So true. So true.
So recapping, leveraging automated email. So we went from campaigns to the automation part of it. So here we talked about clients feel empowered to act when messages are customized to meet their specifics. And one of the biggest ahas that we found from this training was this. A lot of times people were focusing on their social media campaign, which you actually should have a strong social media presence. Not saying that, but when it comes to the clients and how they click and pay for that click, comes into your leveraging of an email marketing. How well are you connecting with them? How well are you telling your story? How well are you keeping them informed about what matters to them? 34% of clients respond to the email marketing, 30% text message, and then 20% is social media. Even though social media came in last in terms of these rankings or these silos, it's still important, but you want to make sure you have a strong email marketing strategy. So any comments or questions from my team teaching? partners? Anyone want to weigh in, or I'm doing okay?
Oh, you're doing great. And I would just
Okay.
say, I'm a big movie geek, right? And so when it talks about your brand on your messaging, I don't know if you folks ever heard of like that, the hero's journey, right? It's a concept of storytelling. And so when you're crafting these messages, like Latasha said, in selling the outcome, right? Real estate, I'm just going to go and say it. Real estate is a very ego-driven business, right? Because you do want to talk about yourself and how you can best help people, though we're not the Luke Skywalker or the Princess Leia, we're the Yoda and the Obi-Wan, right? So you're selling the outcome, you're sharing on how you can help that person through they're the hero of the story. They're the one going through the home buying or selling process, and you are the guide helping them through the pitfalls and the calamities to get to their desired outcome. So where you do want to talk about how you can best help them and your stats and make yourself shine, keep that in aspect to the hero's journey and how you can then make sure that they get to where they want to be.
And what Carrie said is like, I cannot tell you how that is like a mic drop statement. And I look at, because of my role, I look at all of the regions as also company-wide, statewide, US-wide, and then I also look at our competitors. I cannot tell you, majority of what I see is not making your client the hero. I see the agent as the hero. And so if you can make that minor switch, which is actually a huge switch, it'll be a game changer for you. So selling power is using the communication skills, your sales management strategies, and real estate knowledge to persuade clients to act. So then we talked about leveraging communication. That was the next piece. So we talked about communication tips for real estate agents. You want to ask the communication style and or cadence frequency of the client. How do they want to receive information? Which is crucial. Set the communication rules, expectations, your office hours, having those healthy boundaries. Many of my friends will tell me, you do a good job of boundaries. I learned the hard way, trust me. So I learned the hard way that I have to set these boundaries to protect myself, because Santa can't be fabulous every day. So just a joke, just like, hopefully it's a lighthearted. So provide some
every
sort of
day, but available only one day a year.
Exactly. So I got to maximize my time. So provide some sort of electronic or hard copy contact sheet card that includes all of the information that they will need throughout the process. And then you want to utilize a real estate transaction management software, whether it's Command, SkySlope, DocuSign, whatever the platform is, use it. If it's a third party and it works for you, use it. Don't care. Just the bottom line for us as trainers and those brokers that may be joining in, you just want to select a system that works for you. Doesn't matter what it is. We would love at Keller Williams for you to do Command and use Command to the highest potential. But if it doesn't work for you, then that is understandable. Just take the concepts and work them. Okay, so then we talked about leveraging campaigns, or actually we're going to talk about this today. So leveraging campaigns overview. So what we're going to talk about are the phases. Then from the phases, we're going to talk about the impact in terms of the life cycle of the real estate career, in terms of what you want to do. We're going to branch into marketing and tech tips. Then we're actually going to combine the marketing tech tips and best practices. So we're going to dial in deep on those. And then one thing for 2022, and then Q&A. And you will hear from our other trainers. Trust me, I will not bore you to pieces in this hour. So there will be others that will contribute. Any questions or comments so far? Okay, so phases. Phases are this. When you think about client resource management, it's a fancy term, acronym, CRM. You hear that word all the time. It's just basically an automized or a systematized way in which you're running your business. Doesn't matter if it's a real estate business, doesn't matter if it's a lawn landscaping business, doesn't matter if you're a a nutritionalist, yoga instructor. Everyone needs to have a system that they manage their clients with. So you want to make sure that in that phase, you recognize that there is a client get to know you, get to know them. There is a research part of it, and then there's a management part of it. So you need to know everything you can possibly know about that client. Everything in terms of communication, what they like, what they dislike, what they want to see, what they're hoping to do. Because guess what is the number one driver for clients in general? Some of you already know this, but the number one driver, I'm not talking, and let me be very clear, I'm not talking about price. I'm not talking about the home per se. In terms of their satisfaction with the transaction process, how well you did your job or did not do their job is subjective to their what?
How much they think you care about them.
How much you care, or their perception, or their feeling. It's all those intangible things that you think, well, that's not fair, but it is. It's what they, assess you on. It's what they judge you on, is how well you did. Carrie, could you share your story with your mom? Remember, she was working with a real estate agent, and then you ended up going to work later on for that real estate agent, and she had made a comment about, I won't spoil it, but can you just share that really quick? Because I think it's a huge testimonial in terms of going back to how do you make clients feel?
Oh, gosh. And it's all about how you make them feel most recently. But no, she was a longtime client of Keller Williams and agents within Keller Williams, and that they had, taken the time to personally do the showing. And so, having a team and having all these team members that they walked her through the process, that they were always there. And using the system, she had always said, you know what? My agent, Aaron, is always following up with me. He's always sending me the most recent market data that I'm interested in. He's always seeing how I'm doing. And Aaron is just such a wonderful young man. And so I joined Keller Williams, and I joined the team that Aaron is on. I meet him, and he was super cool, super likable guy. And he's showing me how he did business. And you know what? Was he sending those things personally? Realtor Magic, it was part of his CRM, and those messages were set up to go automatically and send his clients what they were most interested in, and it made him look like magic. He was magic, great guy. But right, the CRM allows you to have that one-on-one personalized relationship with many people at the same time. It's really, really, not to overuse the term, but it is magical.
And the thing that I want to go back to and really stress is the point that it was about how she felt more so than what he gave her. And so that's what you want to capitalize on. So it's very important that you make sure that you're consistent in what you're doing, and a CRM will allow you to be consistent. The other thing in the phase of CRM is research phase. Cannot stress that enough. Not only research your client and your client needs, but also research what you're presenting to them, and make sure that you have considered all facets of everything to make sure that there is not any unexposed thing that you don't know about. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have surprises, but what you do know, make sure that you're very well researched in that information. Yes, Teresa.
Okay, so I share this all the time, but I just feel like I can't share it enough. I did a referral to an agent in New Mexico for my mom's property, and she was a crazy top producer, really likable lady. And so we met for the buyer's consultation. She already had the job. We already told her she had the job, but she decided that she needed to do her 40-minute buyer's presentation through everything that was about her and everything that was about homes that were high-end homes, which this was not. This was a middle grade home. So everything she did, and yes, it was a very pretty package. The more she did it, the less my mom wanted to hire her. The second thing was she didn't pay attention to my mother, who was standing and she's elderly. And so instead of knowing her audience, and even when we interjected and said, it's okay, we're good, we'd like to move on, she did not. So I share that because people don't pay attention to what they're being told, because they're so focused on what they think, what they want, what they feel you need, that they stop listening and they stop looking, and it's all about them and their wanting to be the solution without ever understanding it's about the other person and what they want and need. And sometimes you just don't need all the crap. You just need to listen.
That is so important and so huge. I can't tell you how, and that goes back to, you know, obviously what you said, Teresa, which is spot on, is knowing your audience. And that goes back to, regardless if you're in sales or marketing, you are now in it. And one of the pivotal foundational trainings that they teach you is the LQR method. L stands for listen, Q stands for question, R stands for restate. Listen, question, restate. That's how you build the foundation of your meetings. You want to listen to your client, you want to question them, and you want to restate it. I have always tried to do that as best as I can in all of my communication, on the front end, in the middle of the conversation, and at the very end. It's so important to make sure that you're listening and hearing what your client's saying and being observant to body language. So important. So then the last phase of that is management phase. How well are you managing that? And so this is what we're going to get into a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to talk about marketing tips and best practices. So this is huge. All of these are best practices, but they are also marketing tips in the same. So they're kind of this, you know, sugar on top kind of scenario. So the first one is define goals, know your why. This is important. You want to define what your goal is. You want to be very clear about what your goal is. And within that goal, you want to make sure that it's simple and it's attainable. So making sure you clearly define your goals and it's something realistic that you can do. And it doesn't mean that you don't have push or stretch goals, as we like to say in Keller Williams, but making sure that if you're going to have a stretch goal, make sure that you also have some that are attainable, because there's nothing more deflating than to set all of these lofty goals and don't do anything. So making sure that you have manageable, reasonable goals. And you can also incorporate those stretch goals. And then know your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you in business? Understanding what your why is, because then when you know the goal, you know your why, you can perform your job better. And this is with anything in life, whether it's real estate, whether it's cooking, whether you cook or not, baking, you know, whatever it is you do. When you know your goal, know your why, you tend to function at a higher level. The next one is have a process and use it effectively. It's so important to take time off that hamster wheel of doing and actually understand and make sure you have a process. How are you doing things? Most importantly, go back to why are you doing things? Sometimes we do a lot of things that we don't stop and say, well, why am I really doing this? Going back to understanding what your goal is, what your why is, and making sure that that process and or procedure lines up and that it's also effective. That's the beauty of, you know, this time of year, because you can reassess the things that you've done over the last, you know, months or so and say, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to move? I love to try to do this once a quarter where I take a step back and look at my processes and say, are these really working? Is this working for me? What do I need to tweak? What do I need to change? The next one, make data-driven decisions. This is huge. Making sure that you have a CRM that allows you to track and analyze your data and make a decision on data, not on your feelings. Your feelings are up and down all the time. My husband probably will tell you that I'm a little loco, but make sure that your decisions are driven by data and not by feelings or how somebody, made you feel, but just making sure it's really driven by data. The next one, make the most of social listening. What is social listening? Social listening is your metrics. And Carrie's going to talk a little bit about that as it relates to the new metric options or available that we have available in Command our CRM. So making sure that you are social listening to the metrics. Let me give you an example. So one of the things that I do is I constantly, number one, within my social media, I have a marketing strategy. I do posts, automatic posts, so I can do set and forget it. But what I do is I make sure that I go through my metrics of previous posts to see the hour range in which people have the most activity on my page. So then based on that, I set my pre-scheduled post during that heightened time that I know people are going to be most engaged. And it has continued to work for me to the point where I have yet to run a paid ad, and I'm actually getting more leads from my social media than I ever did when I was running paid ads. So making sure that you become that social listener, diva or that, whisperer. It's all about the metrics. Be flexible, adapt with change. Don't get so caught up in yourself or prideful that you can't take a step back and say, am I doing this right? Do I need to listen to somebody else? Do I need to have a third-party perspective, or do I need to just chill out on whatever? So making sure that you're flexible in whatever your plan is. Then leverage all the client relationship features of your CRM. Doesn't matter if it's Command, third-party, whatever it is, SkySlope, you name it. Make sure that you leverage it to its full potential. Don't leave anything on the table, because that's business dollars on the table for you. So just making sure that you leverage that. So I'm going to take a minute, have Carrie or Rochelle, any feedback, comments, or anybody want to comment on some of these marketing strategies or best practices?
I'll kind of chime in a little bit on a few of them. So with regard to the why, you talked about goals and, kind of where you guys want to go. It is important to kind of know your audience as well. Knowing what they're looking for and how they received the information, whether it's better to have an image with a little bit of caption, or whether it's better to have, more of the text and then a little bit of image. So just kind of knowing the audience. And the second one is, you talk about processes. One that many might be hesitant to throw out there is actually kind of surveying your clients throughout the process, right? Asking, did this work for you? Does this system work for you? So that you're able to tweak, as you go, in addition to at the end of the transaction, right? You're getting that feedback on how the process is for them, so that at the end of the day, it's the experience that they're getting, right? The goal is a 5-star experience. Is that what we are achieving? And surveying not just how we do things, but how you're being delivered to the client. That's pretty important too.
Spot on. Carrie, you want to add anything before we go on to the next? Okay. So bonus tips, and then I am going to, Carrie, do you want to go first after this, or Rochelle, do you want to go? Any preference? Don't raise your hand at once though.
Carrie
actually, I'm going to
first.
follow up. I'm actually going to do Rochelle.
Oh, okay.
So actually, I'm gonna wind up to it. So just give me a few minutes. But bonus tip: pitfalls to avoid. So this is looking over, and keep in mind, these are things that I look over not only within Keller Williams, but I look outside of Keller Williams. I look at trends. I look at the industry in general. And so this is the top two pitfalls to avoid that are just not even within the real estate industry, but this is all industries. There are two fundamental things that I saw which were trending for me. Lack of understanding the CRM and lack of time management to implement the CRM. Those were the two pitfalls that I looked at across industries when you're talking about CRMs in general. Those are the two things that kept coming up in terms of repeat pitfalls in the healthcare industry, in restaurant, and tourism, all of these other industries. These were the trending pitfalls to avoid as it relates to CRMs and using them effectively and or not using them effectively. So that's a bonus tip for you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to make sure that I give Rochelle hosting rights. So give me just a moment. So I already made Carrie. And what I'm going to have her do is talk a little bit about the success that she has had, her team has had, as it relates to paid Facebook ads. I know I mentioned, my perspective on it, but it's always good to have multiple different perspectives, because sometimes you may be in a season of your life in which, paid ads are the way to go. Then you may be in another season in which you don't want to do paid ads. You just want to do free social posts, and there's no right or wrong. It just, for you and your business, what is going to work best. So I wanted her to present kind of what she did, some of the tools that she used, and specifically, if you don't mind mentioning the trigger that you talked about, and then the SMART plan as well that you use for your campaign. So I'm going to stop talking and turn it over.
Awesome. So thanks, Natasha. With regard to the campaigns, we have done worked on consistently working on social posts. So if something has sold, I'm not looking for more new leads. I'm really just kind of identifying to the community that we did sell that property and that it's not available, but that's the kind of trigger to take them to the website. However, the campaign that we typically run with regard to a new, or if we have an open house, a lot of times those are going to be the paid campaigns. And so let's see, with regards, where are they here? With regard to our paid campaigns, when we send it out, a lot of times I'll do carousel type ads, with the posting, so that I'm not going to do just a one image, set it and forget it, one image. I'm actually going to do multiple posts, and I create it in designs so that I can actually have some tagging that I like to have done on the property itself. I'm actually going to show you guys something that's already done. Oops. All right, so when we do a just listed, I'll go into our designs, and it's not going to trigger for me, Natasha. I'll go into an image for designs, and I'm going to actually create my post so that it is the post that goes out that is already personalized, and it's already custom to the team, to the property, and with several triggers. A lot of times the very first image is going to be about the property, but the property is going to have links. And sorry, Natasha, it's taking a while. Ugh.
It's okay, sorry.
It's taking a while. I'm going to stop it. Okay, so let me walk you, easier if I walk you through a little bit. When you're in campaigns, and what I like to do is, first of all, I'm going to go through the designs to create the post. Okay, so I'm in designs and I'm creating the post. I had it up, but it took a little longer to circulate. So this is where I'm going to kind of promote the team. I'm going to promote the property, and in the links, I'm also going to be using a landing page that I've created that is always accessible. In other words, I'm going to make sure that even though the property sells, the landing page can be used even after the sale of the property, right? So that's one of the things that we'll do. I'll create a landing page for that property so that I can promote anywhere utilizing the link. In addition, the smart plan that I use in the library, it's called the easy button. And with the easy button, what I love about that is I will do a paid campaign. I will attach the easy button to my paid campaign. And what this does is when we get leads that come into the system, the easy button will tag to the Facebook lead. It'll tag it to the property that I have actually promoted. And the smart plan already generates a customized text system, right? It starts to text the client and it'll say, thank you for, reaching out. And over time, after several delays, it'll send an email to say, hey, I'm putting together a list of homes. Do you want to tell me something specific about the property, about what you're looking for? Or shall I, connect with you in some other way, shape, or form? After that, then there's another delay and another follow-up. I've been using this for about a month and a half, and it's been very successful. We've been doing the Facebook campaigns for all of our listings, and we have had success in that it's not just people that are looking to buy in that area. They're actually looking to buy, period. So whether you have a property, regardless of where the property is located, promote the property, add the smart plan of the easy button to the process, and it comes into the system. The luxury is you're already getting their email and their phone numbers, which is why the text message and the email smart plan works, right? It's the easy button. Yes, the caveat is you'll need to, pay for the Twilio service that Command offers. That part is a paid service. However, the Facebook, once that is set in there, it's an easy button where I've done them for 10 days for $30, and it's cost me average $1.87 a lead. Yeah, so it's several steps, and happy to kind of elaborate, but I think on the screen it just wouldn't allow on the system. So Teresa, you have a question?
I do. So I signed up for the Twilio. I haven't used it yet, but I signed up for it, so I'm about to use it. The question I have is, it doesn't have my number. So yes. Have you had any responses back now that you've been using it, that it's not your number, or that they block it because they don't know who you are? Any suggestions on that?
Well, Latasha can chime in, but I do have, look, you're muted. However, I will chime in on the agent side. You chime in after that. All right.
Yes.
So first of all, I did get an 808 number, right? And when I text, I actually put the Twilio number into my contact card. When I send my contact to another person, my number's already in there, first of all. Okay, so it shows up. And when somebody does question, they'll go, oh, is this another, text, or is this another number? I'll tell them, yes, it's my work text, right? The other benefit that we have, and one of the biggest reasons that I like it more recently, is when I send a text, Command saves that conversation for me. It shows up on the right-hand side, and that's some of the biggest reasons why I like to use Twilio, because now as agents, we can separate our text from personal conversations, and our work conversations are now saved in Command. So yeah, I love it.
That is awesome.
And then the second one, which is so awesome, if you have downloaded the new app, you can send a text message from your very cell phone. So you can avoid it all. So I definitely have both. Highly recommend as a best practice. However, you can, once you download the app, when you go to your contacts and click that little icon that says text, the text goes directly from your phone, shows up as your personal phone number, because that's been a huge thing that many of the agents wanted to do was to be able to see the text come from their own person or cell phone. So that's the workaround that you could do. And the beauty about it is that when you send it, it adds to the timeline, which you can not only see on the app, but you can also see on your desktop when you go back to the desktop. So 2 options for you, Teresa.
I'm gonna have to go back to you on that one. I've got an Android, so the app is not ready for me yet.
It should be released. It should be released. It should be released.
It's working. Carrie
I
and
am an
got it,
Android.
right?
I'm an Android person, and it is ready to go.
Yeah,
It is ready.
it is
Awesome.
ready. It's ready.
right.
So yeah,
I
get
will-
with me. Yeah, get with me on that. Ironically, most of the time Apple is behind, but this time, as soon as they released it, Apple was the first to have it on their app store versus Android. So it's normally the other way around. Normally we are waiting on it, but we didn't have to wait. But yeah, reach out to me, Teresa. I'll be more than happy to walk you through it if you have any questions.
I think they heard how much grief I was giving everybody around the office all the time about. I do have a question for Rochelle. When it comes to utilizing the CRM and taking advantage of the leverage, like what do you find best practice in selecting a smart plan for yourself, or your team? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
So for the most part, I like to read the entire content that they have in some of the samples, which is partially why I haven't crafted a smart plan of my own yet, fully from start to finish, because there are some that exist that allows me to pick it and set it and forget it. For the most part, I like the ability to communicate. So it'll always start with text. It'll never start with an email. It'll always start with a text type of communication. And it'll always have an email feature where I can circle back with them. And the end result is to solidify an appointment. So they will get the email that will have our H&C packet of information. And with that, our target is to set an appointment within 2 days.
So it sounds like just a little bit of upfront planning, or maybe time blocking in review of like what kind of messages that you want to use.
Yeah.
And then putting it into play. And then so
Yeah.
those of you with the app, right, as long as you have the smart plans selected and put into your own personal library, you can activate them through that mobile app, right? Because you guys are on the go. You guys are calling people on the fly. And should you have that right smart plan, you can activate it, and whatever smart plan trigger, right? Let's say you have a tag, and that Facebook lead tag or whatever it is that triggers that easy button smart plan, like all that's in play, right? So make that upfront investment of time blocking, just a little bit of time, because there's seasonal smart plans, right? It's all written there for you. It just takes a little bit of investment upfront on your end for the time to then have the system do everything for you.
Yeah, and to circle back to branding real quick, Latasha talked about branding, and so the signature that we put at the salutation on the team is the same. It's still have a chocoholic day. So whether it comes from the email or the text or the Twilio, the client is seeing the consistency side of that. And so that helps, right? When all of that looks the same and it doesn't look like it's a text from your mobile device and no thought process around it. So, yep, great point, Carrie.
Awesome. So Carrie, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to share the metrics piece of it, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. Just a reminder, if you have not completed the poll that's on the Zoom, please complete the poll for us. And then also what we're going to ask you, because I want you to also start thinking about this. So I'm actually going to ask you to multitask. So sorry. But think about, as you're listening to Carrie, think about the one thing that you want to work on for 2022 that you need to leverage a CRM. So Carrie, turn it over to you now.
Oh, cool, because I'll make it really brief because I would love to get into that brainstorming on 2022. But so campaigns, and what we'll do is the best place to go outside of Latasha and myself or even Rochelle is answers.kw.com. Right? They have great walkthroughs. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple in the chat in regards to getting started within campaigns, and even creating and managing an email recipients list. So the articles are great, screenshots, videos, they capture exactly what it is that you need to do, and you can just step by step go through it. Campaigns, I'm going to be honest, like Smart Plans is my go-to because you get to see some of the results, right? And what we have now are some metrics within Command. And while Rochelle was talking about her easy button Smart Plan, I was looking for it, and there it is. Smart Plan library, and it's literally called the easy button for Facebook lead follow-up. So super cool. But what we are going to do, right, is you can go into campaigns, and they have the different social posts, the paid ads that Rochelle was looking at. You can create, and of course through the answers.kw.com article, you can learn how to create an email list. Super simple. Like for me, all the agents here are actually my clients, right? And so you can create an email list, you can create an email here inside of campaigns. And what is just new for everybody here is inside of your reporting feature, you go into emails up at the top here. And of course, nothing ever went wrong in a live demonstration. There we go. Thank you. It's Christmas miracle and magic. So what you'll see is you'll be able to track, is it a campaign or is it a smart plan? And right now you can select which applet or all applets. And for the month of December, you'll be able to see delivered, undelivered, open, clicked and replied, right? And then so you can kind of go back a couple months, maybe October. I kind of sent basically some neighborhood smart plans and nurtures going out. So you can see how many were sent, how many were opened. I've been helping agents with this to discover and find out that, hey, there were a handful of undelivered ones, right? And you can actually click on the details. You can see who got what, who didn't get what, maybe who unsubscribed, allowing you to maybe have a better conversation, have more of an idea of who you want to talk to based upon who's getting the information that you're sending out, right? And discovering your brand, who maybe needs to know about you a little bit more, and encouraging them to engage with you. So this is a really, really cool tool that came out rather recently. And so we might just be a little unfamiliar with stopping by there and checking it out.
Awesome. So want to toss the baton or the mic to our participants. So share with us, let's do a little brainstorming. It's 10:49, so we are very cognizant of your time. What we love to do is kind of share with us what's the one thing or maybe a couple of things that you are hoping to do for 2022 that we could do a little mini mastermind or a workshop about strategies about how to best the best plan of attack, I guess I would say. So anyone want to start in terms of what's the one thing or the thing that you're working on now that you want to continue doing, but you want to leverage a CRM even more?
I have one. So
Okay.
Mark and I have come together as a team, and we're also, there's other agents that we've been talking with that we may even move into a group faster than I expected. So what I had been working on for me is now shifting because I've got to incorporate the team, right? And so the marketing has to be the team going forward, not me as the individual. So I've got to redo my signs, I've got to redo my web page, I've got to redo or add a new Facebook page, and finding the information to do everything now is blending our contacts. It's been a little bit overwhelming, so I haven't done it. I've focused on the things I know how to do. And I know better, but that's just where it is. So that's the main. I mean, Rochelle, you've done awesome as a team. I've got a lot of inspiration, but it's a lot of work. So that is the one thing. I got to get the team branded, but that one thing has so many steps.
So Rochelle, is there any words of wisdom that you could give her from your team? Like, even if it's just more of a general thing that has helped you along the way and building your team?
One of the biggest things I think is to find the strengths of the people on your team and have that be their wheelhouse. Because when our team members stay in their lane, we're a lot more productive. And the marketing that you're talking about and the branding, that actually came a little later as we evolved, where I didn't change the logo entirely, but I upgraded it. And the clients use us because of the experience and the relationships that they have with you folks. And so for me, it's really just tweaking the experience and the follow-up to include the post-close. That to me is probably most important with regard to transition.
Carrie, I know you also did some work with a team. Is there any words of wisdom that you want to provide, Miss Teresa?
I love what Rochelle said. It's like understanding the role and the people that are what they're doing around you, right? And we heard something really great from Jocko Willich recently in a message where it's like, cover and move, right? Though what you were speaking to, Teresa, like the biggest thing I usually tell people too is like, it does sometimes get overwhelming and you do have lots of tasks. Today's, grace is sufficient for you today, right? Tomorrow comes with its own set of problems, and the only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time, right? But take those baby steps towards your desired, bold, right, business objective, life by design, and really just plug in, and it'll be great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else, Teresa?
No,
Okay.
teams when it's a spouse is a little bit different for lanes, but and then as you're adding new players to go, and we do all come with wonderful attributes. It's just a little different when it's a spouse.
Gotcha. Yes, I can relate. That's why my husband and I don't work together. So just it works well for us. Anyone else? David, Amanda, Jill, anyone else in terms of what's the one thing that you want to work on for 2022 that you may need some masterminding behind?
Everything.
One thing, David, one thing.
Hey, I got my second listing today, so I'm riding pretty high today.
Yay! It's that Santa magic. Yes, see? So
No,
is
landing
Go ahead,
page
David.
is next for me. So I got to get my landing page for I had my first listing go live yesterday, and I signed my second listing this morning. So a landing page is the next thing for me to get created. I've got a whole bunch of marketing stuff that's ready to roll out. I just need to get the landing page done so I can have people directed to that.
Yeah, I would duplicate and replicate what Rochelle is doing in terms of her campaigns. I would consider strongly as a best practice to do a separate landing page. So then that way it just stays, it's in existence and you can utilize it for whatever you want. So I would kind of take a page out of her page book on that landing page.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her whole book, playbook. So
Yeah, I would definitely do that if I were you. So anything else, David, that you want help with, or is that good? Jill, what about you? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
Anything else? Okay.
I'm good.
Jill? Oh, she might have been gone. I think Amanda left. Anything else? Any any questions? Any clarity on anything that was discussed or presented? Any questions about that? What about oh, go ahead, Rochelle, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, when you talked about the client relationships and, all the features of the CRM and, you talked about social posts or just social media platform. I actually have you have the feature in Command where you can add additional, right? If that box doesn't exist, you create a box or a preference or whatever. And so that's where the birthdays come in, that's where the anniversaries come in. And the goal is to keep in touch with these people, right? Well, it's more importantly, not stopping at the birthday or the anniversary or the house anniversary. It's being super, super strategic with your tags. And it's also paying attention to those social posts where you're celebrating the wins when you comment on the social post, but you're also kind of logging it on your social, your Command as well, right? I talked to somebody a couple of days ago and their son is a junior. And because we have a luxury with Command, there's no limit to the deadline. There's a task associated with, okay, send that person a graduation card on this date at this, in this month or whatever, and just kind of capitalizing on what the information that you're getting. In addition, pay attention to the woes. I pay attention to the wins and the woes, and there is a lot of unfortunate stuff happening around us, and it's commenting, it's being there for people, but it's also circling back with them in a reasonable amount of time to show you care. It's exactly what Teresa was talking about with regard to care, and it's not just the immediate opportunity in the conversation you're having with them. It's the fact that you remembered that day is a big deal for them. So just kind of capitalizing on, the social post and the content that we have, and not forgetting, but remembering and taking the time to add that event into your Command so that you have a reason and opportunity to circle back with them, celebrate with them on the 1-year anniversary, or celebrate with them on the fact that you're thinking of them on that special day.
Could I share one other thing, which was amazing to everything Rochelle just said? One of the things that has worked as a best practice that I've seen other social media marketing strategists do that I've adopted, and it works, is whenever you sit down to do your social media, whether that's checking your social posts, whether that's posting, however you're doing it, include a time where it's like you make 1 or 2 touches per time, whether that's once a week, once a month, whenever you do it, or if it's once a day or twice a day. Get in the habit of touching at least 1 or 2 people, or you set the number. I don't know what it is. I'm just throwing it out there, but build that into your time management where when you do your checking of your social media, that you also go and reach out to one person that's following you, a previous client, and then just look on their, post and just comment, whether it's just a smiley face or whatever it is, but that constant little sprinkle of touch base with them, following them, concern, going back to the care, then that they become, if they haven't already, a raving fan, which they may use you again or forward somebody, your information. So those little touches, build that system, that touch system in terms of, soft touches, totally free. Just comment, just post, just be there, whatever it is. Those
That's also been in, and then if I can add, like, as agents, right, it is overwhelming, and technology, and I've got to do this, and I keep telling people here, it's like, realize that this data point, it's a person, it's a relationship, right? And now even more so with the app, you can notice something and comment on something on Facebook, and you can open up your app and create a task with 2 clicks of a button, and then call this person and set a follow-up and shepherd and steward that relationship well. Because if it's important to you, and all the agents, when it comes down to things and having conversations like this relationship is important to me, but yet we can't, at 2 clicks of a button, log that information down to then follow up later, right? So there's a dissonance in that. So leverage the system and the tools, and with the app, it's going to get crazy. Yeah, and this is just getting started, right? But the power at your fingertips and the ease of it, take the time, because it is a relationship, not just data, that it's hugely important.
Well, thanks everyone. Unless there is anything else, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your presence, your feedback, your engagement. Don't forget the grab and go hot chocolate thank you. That will be to the Maui agents, the Hilo peeps. You will get yours delivered to the Hilo office. Kona will get theirs to the Kona office. And those Kauai agents that may not necessarily be on the call but watch the recording, they will get theirs concierge service style in their mailbox. But just wanted to say a huge thank you for putting up with me this year. It's been a joy. I'm not going anywhere, so don't get nervous that I know of. I could be, but I don't know of anything. But it's just been a great experience. It's been a great time. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Carrie, for being my amazing counterpart, my BFF, no words. We got to wear t-shirts again. Team chocolate, dark chocolate, rock all the way. So love you guys. Have a wonderful holiday season. Stay safe. Reach out to me if you need me.
Okay.